right. Hey, everyone. Hello, hello. I want to welcome you guys to season 2. This is episode 6 of Real Talk Houston with Carlotta B. Today, I want to welcome a very special guest in the building today, Rafer Alston. Welcome. Rafer is Streetball Legend, NBA icon, and he's also a basketball coach. So he has youth advocacy efforts that he is doing right here in the Houston community. So please join me in welcoming Rafer to Real Talk Houston with Carlotta B.
Yay!
How's it going?
Oh, going well.
Good.
Going good.
Good. I know you have some places to be this evening, and I want to apologize to the Boss Fam Nation that we had to move our episode up by 2 hours because duty calls. Rafer had somewhere to be. He got to go work with the kids tonight, the high school team, right?
High school basketball tonight.
Yes.
Fort Bend Christian Academy game.
Yeah, so thanks for being flexible. I'm glad that you were able to join, even though it was early. I'm glad you found time to still join in with us today. Okay?
Right. No problem.
Yeah, so I think everyone know that you are from the NYC area. One more thing first before we dive in. I've got to thank our sponsor today. Sorry about that. We have Tucker's Carpentry and Renovations out of the East Texas area. You guys, he is sponsoring today's show, and he is definitely happy to help you guys with any and all renovations that you have. Email address for Tucker Carpentry and Renovations is tuckerbw25@gmail.com. He does it all, you guys, from renovations to carpentry, building new homes, doing full-blown renovations. Tucker's Carpentry is your go-to for that. Okay. So, Rafer, I know most people know you're from the New York area. Give us a little introduction of exactly where you're from in New York. What high school did you go to? And just a little bit about you. And what's your nickname? I'm sure some people know and some people do not. Tell us a little bit about Rafer.
I'm born and raised in Queens, New York. Jamaica, Queens to be exact. And
Okay.
just growing up, during a time era where things were rough, tough.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But one thing about New York City, basketball is everything to us. So the whole entire city we had basketball to gravitate to and lean on.
Exactly.
And all of my friends were playing. Our friends were playing. So all the older guys played. All the older guys wanted to play.
Yeah.
So it was basketball was a way of life for us in New York City. It was an everyday thing. It was part of people's schedule.
Yeah.
And
so you started playing at a young age, right?
Yeah. If a kid is born right now, he's probably being groomed to be a basketball player in New York City. And
Wow.
It's just the way it is. It's like the opposite of places like Texas and Florida where they're probably grooming them to be football players and stuff. But
Yeah. When
But
you
I
were
never
growing
go.
up, did you guys look at that as kind of an outlet to, idle hands? The busier you are, the less likely it is for our young people to get into trouble. Was that one of the aspects that played an important role in you guys just like meeting on the streets, playing basketball, and trying to stay busy?
It started out to stay busy, but it's really an outlet. It's really it's what we hang our hat on at the time during those times. So it was either basketball. Most kids were up to no good and getting into trouble. So it's huge there though. Like it's hard. It's difficult to explain it to people that's not from there and don't understand it.
Exactly.
It's huge. Like it's part of our culture. It's when you think of New York pizza, you think of basketball right behind it. So it's synonymous with how we grow up in New York City.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's more like a culture there. I think the culture more so here in Houston or Texas, if you will, is more football based.
Yeah.
Everything is football. But yeah, New York does have a culture for basketball. So who else? So a lot of people came out of New York that are now in the NBA, right?
Well, it's more so that in years past, it's not so much right now, but years past, we had tons of players from New York City. I mean, going back to like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bob Cousy, you could name them, Mark Jackson, Kenny Smith, Kenny Anderson,
Yeah.
Stephon Marbury, Rod Strickland. Like the list of basketball players that come from New York City is
Yeah.
it's just, it goes on and on and on. Like you even though you name some people, you're gonna continuously forget names, but and including myself. So we all a lot, it's the dream that we all, like I said, since we were like 5, 6, 7 years old, it's the dream that we just hold on to until either you make it or you don't. It's just that's the dream.
Yeah, I totally get it. Did you guys have to deal with any bullying when you were growing up? I know it's pretty prevalent now. There's a lot of bullies out there, and it's more in the forefront with schools. But did you guys have bullies back then, or if so, what side were you on? Were you on the
if you want to call them bullies,
protecting myself because I'm being bullied side, or were you one of the bullies? You thought you were bad back in the day?
If you want to consider them bullies, I don't like when we were coming up. We don't know what a bully was because we were all together. So when I say that is, you went to school with the kids that's from your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And even though we're going to rough and tough schools where there's some guys or kids that are so-called your bullies, it wasn't happening. It wasn't going to last long because we were big into taking care of each other. And one of our big things was there was no one-on-one fights. So people from our neighborhood, like for instance, even the women, the young ladies that was from our neighborhood, if they said a guy was messing with them, all 5 of us is going over there to tear that dude up. So it's different times and different eras.
Gang.
But no, we weren't. Yeah, and the bottom is we weren't really gang. We weren't a gang. We were just from tough neighborhoods. Gangs are big now in New York City.
Yeah.
And they were big when like 60s, 70s. But when I was coming up, gangs weren't the issue. You were just from a tough neighborhood, and like I said, if you were from my neighborhood, we all went to school together, and we make sure that we were taught that from all the older people in the neighborhood. We were taught, hey, watch out for her, watch out for her. Y'all make sure y'all watch out for each other. So we all walked to school together. We all came home together. So whenever the so-called bully or whoever they thought they were when they were active, we nipped that in the bud quick.
Immediately. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. I love that. And I wish we had that whole concept today. I know a lot of kids are, their philosophy is every kid for himself. There's not a lot of camaraderie and sticking together and protecting and embracing each other in our communities today or in our families even. So that's something that I think is lacking, or that's a gap in the current family dynamic today. Do you agree or do you disagree?
I totally agree.
What can we do to fix that? Is it in our teachings? Is it, at this stage, I think it's up to the parents to put that foundation in the kids and install that in them, or what is the solution, do you think?
I don't know. I wish I had a solution. I can't say it's just up to the parents because they might not, some of them don't know how to.
That's true, because they weren't taught.
Right. So, I know, nowadays the kids don't even grow up outside with each other.
Yeah.
Some of them are just, the only time they see each other is when they get to school. So they don't build that bond.
Yeah.
I can say that when I was these kids' age, I built a bond with the kids in my neighborhood, and we went to school together. Then there was quite a few of the kids in the school that might have lived a couple of blocks from us that we built bonds with too.
Yeah.
So even though we might not see them only when we go to school, it's like a hidden rule or understanding. It was an understanding. We cool, we together. So nowadays, kids go to school, come home, and they're not going outside.
Yeah, they're on their video games.
So it's we all grow up. When I was growing up, like I said, we grew up through the struggle together. We grew up through all the different trials and tribulations and things like that together. Right. So it was understood that we were together wherever we go, whatever we're doing. That's just how it was. And then if any time one of us showed in a situation that we weren't together, we were gonna let that person know about it when we get back around the neighborhood. So it was nowadays I think that's a huge thing. Then when they go to school, the way the school and the teachers and the administration, the way they so somewhat keep the kids divided as a, you know what I mean? Not like sometimes like they don't even want the kids to horseplay with each other nowadays. You know what I mean? So like if you hit me in the back of my head, even though I know you're playing around, I might hit you in the back. They want to call home.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So now the next day, you and I don't even want to interact with each other now because we figured out we're gonna get in trouble. So it's so much going on that they're preventing the bond and the closeness with the kids.
Yeah. Things have changed. That is so true. Wow. Yeah. So your family dynamic, you have kids, right? Are they in sports? You have girls, boys? They in sports?
Girls and boys.
Where's their mind right now?
They just really, I'm one of my kids, 2 of them play ball. The rest of them, no. That's just not their thing. My oldest son, he raps and, you know, they live their life. To me, the biggest thing with these kids is nowadays, you just hope they're being great citizens in society. And that's the biggest thing. To me, don't steer them one way or the other. Let them, you know, grow and decide what they want to do.
Kind of find their way.
Let them find their talent. You know, the good thing for me is that, again, at an early age, I found mine. I knew what I wanted to do, and from the time I was 6, 7, 8 years old, I wanted to play ball. That's it. It was nothing else, you know. And for them, I want them to broaden their perspective, broaden their horizon, and just, you know, see what captures you.
Well, did your dad? I know we talked about it, but did your dad introduce basketball to you at all? Or
you know, to be honest with you,
play basketball himself?
To be honest with you, I really don't remember who exactly introduced me. Could have been my dad. But I just know I was 5, and I remember I was 5. I remember going to the park. And, you know, so I don't actually remember who exactly. I hope it was my dad. So I you know, at the end of the day, thank you for whoever did introduce me to the game. Thank you.
Your boys that are playing now, they know you are the great streetball legend from Queens, New York. Do they know the full capacity of who their dad is at this age? Do they know?
Kind of, sort of. I mean, I don't think they take heed to it. You know.
They're like, whatever. He's dead.
Let's put it like this: they're not watching film or footage of me. They much rather watch footage of Damian Lillard or Steph Curry before they watch me.
Yeah. Because I think first and foremost, you're dad to them.
Yeah.
There's a different kind of love there for you. So, you know, that's good. That's good. So you had in Slam Magazine did an article on you early on. I think that was before you got drafted, right? And they kind of titled you as the best point guard in the world. What was behind that article, and how did that come about? And were you playing college ball at the time when that article came out, or what were you doing at that time?
I was when that article came out, I was going to college. I was going to Fresno State.
Okay.
And a guy that was friends with my high school coach, he was working at Slam, and he had pitched the story to all the people at Slam that, you know, there's a young kid that's headed to college that the world knows about him, but really don't know and understand how good he is and how good he can be. Yeah. And they didn't think it was going to garner much attention. And at the time, when he convinced them that this is the article we need to go with, and this is the cover story we need to go with, and it took off. And you know, it was unbelievable to me at that time. Yeah. And the story was spot on. Yeah. And I think Slam realized. I mean, usually they were doing stories on big NBA guys or big time college guys. Yeah. And yet I haven't made my mark in either. Yeah. But yet I had this following at that time. Without social media, without internet, I had this big following. And I think Slam realized it when they put me on that that issue took off.
Right.
People bought the issue, and it sold just as much, or if not more, than some of the other issues they had.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's good. I'm glad they did that article. They put you out there for the world to see, so everyone knows. And how did you get your nickname? Skip?
Ah, my nickname Skip to my Lou
Skip to
comes
my
from
Lou?
the playground. I was young, and I used to do this move where I skipped down the court with the ball,
Yeah.
And the nickname came from when I used to play in Rucker Park, and the commentators gave me that nickname.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that the nickname would stick with me, for the rest of my life. And it was so weird because after a while, a couple of years go by, people thought that was my real name.
Yeah.
Like I would walk down the street in New York City and people would think, I'm like, yo, what up, Skip? And I'm like, what's up? And one day, a few kids, I had took the train to 145th Street.
Yeah.
And the tournament I was playing on was 155th, so I was going to walk 10 more blocks.
Right.
But I got over to 145th Street because I wanted to say hello to one of my friends that I played AAU ball with.
Mm-hmm.
When he wasn't home, I just kept walking. I saw some kids, and they were like, man, Skip, where you going? I'm like, I got a game. And it's crazy I'm calling them kids because I was only 17 at the time, so I'm a kid, so to speak, myself.
Yeah.
And these little kids were walking with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then they kept asking me questions, but every time I asked them a question, they used my name, Skip. And then I asked one of the kids, I said, do you even know my real name? He's like, your name is Skip. I'm like, you think my mother name is Skip to my Lou? You really think? So, I had no idea this nickname.
Your real name.
Yeah, a lot of people thought it was my real name.
Wow, that's something. What were you doing? How did your draft even come about? What year did you get drafted, and how did that come about? How did you feel when you first learned that you were going to be drafted, and how did you feel when your name was actually called? I mean, what was going through your mind? What were your thoughts at that time?
You're making me show my age, but I was drafted in 1998,
okay.
Second round for Milwaukee Bucks. So I entered the draft as a junior.
Okay.
And what happened was I was in LA I was in Marina Del Rey at a sports, like a little bar and grill,
mm-hmm.
right? So I wanted to watch the draft alone, and I was projected to go late first round.
Yeah.
So the first round went by, and I'm like, I probably made a big mistake by leaving school early and entering the draft. But then it had went to commercial after they did like the first 4 or 5 picks of or 6, 7 picks of the second round. They went to commercial and they came back, and I'm sitting there drinking a Coca-Cola, eating a burger, and they're like, hey, while we were away, the Bucks just took Rafer Alston, Fresno State. And I'm like, I just jumped up like hell. So I'm just like, hell yeah. So, but there's people next to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, snap, I'm embarrassing myself. I'm probably ruining their little lunch, because it's still early out there. It's like, it's still 5:30, 6 o'clock at night, but it's 9 o'clock on the East Coast where the draft is at.
Right.
And so I'm jumping around. So I paid the bill, and I said, hey, I'm going to pay for theirs too. And they're like, why is he doing that? And I'm like, and I went back to the hotel, and I was like jumping for joy. And, I called my friends. And but it was a dream come true.
Yeah.
It was a dream come true is what, I always thought I could do when I started dreaming about playing in the NBA and what I worked for.
Yeah.
And then what really hits you is that, that time has, everything that you've done from the childhood all the way now, that time has finally come.
That's right.
Unfortunately, I was second round pick, and back then you had to make the team.
Exactly.
So, you're right. It's different. It's different nowadays. So I had to make the team, and I had to, basically solidify myself and let the people know that in the NBA that I was going to be here to stay. And that's really what it was. Like I said, it was a dream come true. Till this day, I still look back at it. I'm finally. Nowadays, I get a chance to look at some of the games and look at some of the things I did.
Right.
Because when you're going through, it's hard to reflect on it.
Yeah, it is. Because you're caught
up
and focused on your journey forward. Yeah.
Yeah, but nowadays, I get to look at some old games and look at them like, wow, I was on the court with a lot of Hall of Fame guys.
Exactly.
Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, Vince Carter, Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett. And I wasn't just out there. I was really actually doing my thing I
Yeah,
was really a player that they had to watch. you know,
exactly. That's right.
so
Yeah. Skip some
now, like I
ability on
said,
the
nowadays I
court.
get to reflect and look back at it, and it's just it's an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah. So you were with the Bucks first, right?
Yeah.
And then what is your roadmap in the NBA? You Bucks
So
first.
I was drafted the Bucks. Then I was there for 3 years, and then I was um, what you call it? I ended up not catching on with the team onto the G League, and I was playing with the I got a 10-day contract with the Toronto Raptors,
Raptors. Yeah.
and then I signed a 1-year deal with Miami. Then I went
Yeah.
back to Toronto on a 6-year deal. Then I got traded to Houston.
Yeah.
Played in Houston for 3.5 years, and after that I got traded to Orlando. And then after that, I got traded to New Jersey. And I pretty much finished up right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody said you were a problem on the playground and in the NBA. Somebody said you were a problem on the playground, Rafer. Were you causing trouble?
No, they mean I was, when they say I'm a problem, I mean I was tough to deal with.
Oh, well, it says and in the NBA. But okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I know you were trouble in the NBA because you had some skills. You did have some skills. So who was your favorite player to play with on your team, on either the teams that you were on? Who did you gel with the most? And who was your biggest opponent on the court? Who did you have the most problem with? Who guarded you the best?
I don't know who guarded me the best because I wasn't, it's different teams. They had different roles on different teams. So I couldn't say who really guarded me the best. But I had a lot of good teammates. You know, I played with Dwayne Wade his rookie year. A guy from my neighborhood, I played with Lamar Odom. So that's always fun and great to play with people that you got a chance to see in the neighborhood and
Right.
live the same dream as you. So that was good. I played with Ray Allen, Glenn Robinson.
Yeah.
Then I played, a guy, he used to play here, but I played with him in Milwaukee, Sam Cassell. Sam Cassell was a good teammate of mine.
Yeah.
Friend. I played here. Yao Ming, Trace McGrady was great to play with.
Yeah.
So it's just different times, different teams, man.
The team was amazing when you guys.
So it was amazing to play with a lot of these guys.
Yes. You guys were balling. Back in the day when you were on the team, that whole team, that squad was amazing. Amazing. You guys were fabulous on the court.
Yeah, but and then when you're in the NBA, everyone's pretty tough to guard.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because they all good. I had to guard Allen Iverson. I had to guard guys like Baron Davis, Chauncey Billups. Like all these guys were tough to guard. So
yes.
I can't really pick one because on any given night, you already know what they were going to come at you every night.
Yeah, they were bringing it. Yeah, I get it. I know that's tough. Yeah, that is tough to name just one because there were hundreds. There's a plethora of players, right? And they're all great. They're all great.
Some of the best players in the world.
Yeah. What about coaches? Do you have a coach that stands out the most? Was any of the coaches served as a mentor to you in your younger days? Who's your favorite coach or who had a big impact on your
my younger days would be my coach I had when I was a young kid. But pros in college, I mean, they are who they are.
Yeah.
They were legendary coaches before I even made it there, and it was a joy and thrill to play for them and work with them. Jeff Van Gundy is one because he coached the Knicks and we were big Knicks fans growing up, and it was an honor to have an opportunity to play for him.
Yeah.
So Jeff was definitely one, and then Rick Alleman was one. Watching Rick coach the Blazers and he had coached the Portland Trail Blazers and watching how good he was with all those teams and then finally get a chance to play under him. He's another one.
Right.
Another guy that was great with me was a guy from Brooklyn, New York, legendary, one of the best coaches in the history of the NBA, was Lenny Wilkins. Lenny was so mild-mannered. Lenny was didn't want to overwork the guys.
Yeah.
He allowed you to be men, and he treated you as such, and he put the responsibility on you. So they were all great. I mean, I'm leaving off names, but those just to name a few.
Yeah.
But
And I know
to
you
me,
said,
I've learned something from every coach I've had in the NBA, and I've learned, and the coaches that had me since I was young, when I was young, they are in a different realm and plateau than the others because the guys in the NBA only know me for a short time when I was in the NBA, but these guys knew me since I was a child, a teenager, a man, a grown man. So they probably more than likely had more of an impact on me than the pro coaches, only because they pretty much really known me my whole life.
Yeah, since you were a kid. Yeah, that's good. That's great. I know you said you played with Kobe. Rest in peace, Kobe. He was one of the greatest. We're still hurting from that tragic loss. Where were you when you heard the news? Do you remember?
When I heard the news about Kobe, I was actually filming. I was in New York City. And I was doing some film for a documentary, and I couldn't believe, but I didn't believe it at first.
Yeah.
You know, because you get so many at the time. People play little jokes and pranks and memes and everything. So
exactly.
I didn't believe it at first, but it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
You know, I take it to heart, but also, for me at the time, I dealt with so much loss and hardship that I heard it, I understood it.
Yeah.
And one thing about me, because I've dealt with so much from a young age, I had the opportunity to see death and witness friends die at an early age and stuff like that. You know, I do understand we all have an expiration date.
Yeah.
Some sooner than others. Some unexpected. And that's how I took it. It's like, you know, it's a tragedy. It's just something that is unexpected.
Right.
You know, we all have that calling. He called us all when it's been time.
That's true. So. That's true. We mourn, we say a prayer, and we keep going. Yeah. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. When you were playing, Rafer, how did you prepare for your games? How did you get your mind right? How did you get crunk before the games? It
really wasn't. To be honest with you, I really didn't have no real rituals.
Yeah. You just showed up, got dressed.
I'm always in tune to the game. Like I'm always ready to play. I'm ready to go. Yeah. It's what I love to do.
Yeah.
I was telling somebody the other day though, the one different thing for me to a lot of my other peers was that they like to listen to rap and stuff on their way to the game, and I was totally different. I might listen to something softer on the softer side, keep myself mellow. I might listen to R&B or something, and just have my mind free.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, you want to
relax in a relaxed state of mind before I go to the arena.
Yeah, you want to relax yourself. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. When I'm coming to the studio, it depends on what kind of day I've had. You know, if I've had a rough day, I play something that's relaxing to kind of mellow me out, make me exhale. Like today, I had a rough day today, so I needed something to mellow me out. But yeah, for me, it just kind of depends on the kind of day I had. So I play something crunk and loud and quick and fast, or I play something mellow.
Yeah. Well, see, nowadays for me, it's, like I said, it's different. I'm so outgrown rap, period, that is.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's gonna be some smooth R&B. It's gonna be a throwback or something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just chill out. It's so crazy because I remember when I was young, I used to listen to all the older people, and when we turn up the music loud, the rap music, and they're like, "Why y'all turn all that boopity boop stuff down?" And now as I'm getting older, I'm like, "Yeah, turn that stuff down." Man.
Right. You turn into your parents, like the what is the Geico? Is it a Geico commercial? To say you're turning into your parents. I think it's Geico.
One of them.
Yeah, but anyway, those commercials are super funny. But yeah, I feel you. I'm kind of doing the same with my kids too. So I always like to interject a fun fact to kind of break up the monotony of the interview. So fun fact question is, what's the one thing about you that's weird, you think is weird, or other people would consider weird, or just one unknown odd fact about you that no one really knows?
Wow, that's different.
What comes to mind?
I don't know. That's crazy. I'll give him one. Before my games, before my game, I would drink, right in the locker room, I would drink 3 cups of coffee.
What?
3 small cups, though. No big cup.
With
So that's
cream
kind
or
of
without
weird. I
cream?
give them that. That's kind of weird.
Straight black coffee? Anything in it?
No, cream and sugar.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you perform well under pressure? And that's on the court, off the court. If you have
that's good. I think on the court, yes.
Okay.
I off the court, struggle with.
Mhm.
So I think on the court, yes. Off the court, I probably struggle with.
Okay. A lot of players think, no matter what the sport is, basketball, football, soccer, they think playing with anger and aggression are good ways to pack on their performance. Do you know anyone that share that same philosophy, and do you agree with that?
No, it's teach his own on that one. It's teach his own.
Yeah.
Teach his own.
I hear that. I hear that a lot.
Because some players can do it and some players can't. It's just some people know how to channel that anger and aggression the right way, and some people don't channel that anger and aggression in the right way. So
right.
To me, it's to each his own.
Yeah.
I would lean more towards not. I'm gonna lean more towards that is not a good way to go about it.
Yeah, I agree.
I would lean because when we need to count on you the most to really have some mental resolve, mental toughness, and mental fortitude.
Yeah.
It's hard for us to get you to where we need you as a team and as a teammate if you're so aggressive and angry and upset. So to me, it's hard. I'm gonna lean towards not. No.
Yeah, I totally agree with that one. But what is the deal with more recently we're seeing like these fouls on the court and they're just totally fake. Like you barely bump someone and they just pass out on the floor like you just killed them.
Well, I think that's more on the referee of the game. I think the referees they play a part in that. Like,
yeah,
they know for a fact
right
if something's a legit foul or not. So you're not the referees aren't fooled. It's just who the players are. So basically, who the two players are, the last name on the jersey. You know, if it says James on the back of the jersey, he's gonna get the flopping fake foul call.
Yeah.
If it's another player that's not on those levels or not a friend of All-Star, then they're not going to be able to flop and get the same call. So
that is so
to me, refereeing plays that part. It's a joke. Yeah, it's silly, and to me, it has nothing to do with the game of basketball. That should be taken all the way out the game.
That's what I was going to say. That should be totally off the charts, illegal, not even allowed to do that because it makes everything unfair. You know, those 2 points that player got from faking a fake foul could make the game sway in one direction or the other. So I totally disagree. But there's no talks about making them stop doing that because it's not fair. It's not fair.
Look, I don't know about what the rules changes, what the committee is doing nowadays. I just know that they probably would never stop that stuff. So at the end of the day, it's the referee's way of having such an impact on the game. So they're not going to allow them not to have an imprint on the game. You got to remember the referee, especially the NBA. NBA is totally different than college, high school and stuff.
It is.
In the NBA, the referees want to they want to have this feeling that 20,000 people have come to watch them instead of 20,000 fans have come to watch those players play. So that's why when the people are flopping, the referees act as if it was a real legitimate foul when they know darn well it wasn't.
Right.
But this is their way of having their imprint on the game by calling and
calling
make
it the
you
way
feel
they
like
want to call it.
Yeah, they that's their relevancy.
Yeah.
I'm important now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna say it one more time. I totally disagree. Like in football, they no more unnecessary roughness. Right? You can't hit them a certain way now because it's been initiated that you can't do that. So I think
they're gonna call it in football. It's just they only call it really on the quarterback. You see what I'm saying? It's different. They're gonna call on the quarterback. Like everyone else is playing tackle football, but the quarterback is playing two-hand touch. So if you hit the quarterback in professional football now, that's roughing the passer. It's gonna be a penalty.
Yep.
But you could clothesline the running back.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Okay.
they might as well put flag, like the quarterback and the pro should play with a flag on, and everybody else should just headhunt and just be as barbaric as they can be.
Yes.
But the quarterback, he might as well just have 2 yellow flags or 2 red flags on his hip.
Right.
And when you get to him, you just pull his flag like he playing flag football.
Right. I agree. Totally agree. What do you think about the team, the Rockets team, this season, the drafts that they have right now?
Good team. I think the future is bright for them.
A lot of potential, right?
They got some good young stars.
Yes.
They, soon, maybe this summer, maybe next year, they'll add a star player or superstar player and get some more pieces around them.
Right.
But the future for them looks bright. I mean, those young players are going to be fine. They have to grow into this league. They have to understand what it is to play 82 games. Remember, these young kids are used to playing 30 games.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You almost times that 3 more times.
I know.
82.
It's a lot of
if you're
games.
playing the playoffs, you're looking at 90 games. So in one season, they're playing 3 seasons in one, and right? Then you got to factor in all the practices. Right? You got to factor in they're so young, they're not used to being with these guys 6 or 7 months out the year where you get tired of seeing each other by March, February.
I know.
So it's, you know what I mean? You also got to get used to living on your own. So a lot of fans don't understand how huge this is for 18, 19-year-old young men.
Huge transition for
these
young players.
People understand that it plays into your season.
Yes, it does.
You know what I mean? It plays into you mentally. Remember, professional sports is more mental than it is physical in your skill set. Because once you get to this level, everyone can play. Everyone is damn good. Some are superb. Some are just stars and superstars, right?
I know.
But mentally, it's tough on players, especially young players that they've never gone through this yet.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So right now, those young players on the Rockets, they're already burnt out.
Yep.
And they don't understand. They still have a whole nother season and a half to go.
I know.
But they're already burnt out.
I know it. They started out with so much pizzazz and spunk and fire. And I can tell in some of the games, they're like, oh, my God, what did I get myself into?
And then not to mention, they want to enjoy their time, their money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you can't, they're young. You know what I mean? It's a lot on those young kids' shoulders, man. 19-year-old millionaires, what do you think they're going to do? Yeah. It's not until year 3, most of the time, year 3, year 4, that they understand how to manage themselves, their time, make sure they take care of their bodies, putting the right foods and probably getting the proper rest throughout the entire season.
Yeah,
so it probably is something going to take most people, take them year 3, year 4.
To even get into a routine.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I mean, you got to remember, too, you practically living out your suitcase.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, you're always flying, and it's tough.
Yep.
It's tough. You're always away from your family, and all, you know. People don't understand that. People think it's basketball that they're struggling with. No.
Yeah, it's a lot more.
Outside things they're struggling that is influencing, that has a heavy influence on the basketball part of it.
Right. Yeah, that's a lot to it than what you see them on the court and you think that's it, and they go to practice and that's it.
I mean, think about it. They go out to eat tonight. If they go out to eat tonight, you got all the fans pulling at them. Young millionaires, a bunch of women could be pulling at them. They trying to decipher. Is she the right one? Is she like? It's a lot, and people don't understand. Like, this is real deal, Holyfield. This is serious.
Yeah,
for young men. You know what I mean? So, I mean, now it's different. When I was playing, they go to the restaurant now. People got their camera out watching them eat. Like, they can't even get the mac and cheese on the fork. Somebody got their camera on them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
that's too much.
It's ridiculous.
That's too much. Yeah, these poor kids. Yeah, hopefully they have someone coaching and training them on do's and don'ts, how to handle certain situations, you know, etiquette coach. Does that exist?
They have that stuff around, but some either take heed to it and listen. Some they might not listen to year 5.
Hard heads.
You know what I mean? No, it's not that they're hard headed. It's that
you
can't expect them in year 1 or year 2.
Yeah.
Of their life has just changed so drastically to just start listening to, you know. They're going to want to enjoy it. They want to enjoy some of it.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like I say, they're going from high school or 1 year of college eating ramen noodles to now every night they could afford
whatever they want.
market price lobsters.
Yes.
And right?
Yes.
They can go buy a Lamborghini.
Yep.
Right?
Whatever they want.
They could go in the mall, close their eyes, and point at anything in any of them high-end store, and they could go get it. Right? It's two different worlds, and people don't understand that. You have to put a lot of people, you don't know what they're going through unless you're in their shoes.
Exactly.
And I always try to explain that to people. It's like my mom's still alive, right?
Yeah.
If the next person has lost their mom, God forbid, you always hear somebody talking about, oh man, I know what you're going through. You have no clue what he's going through because your mother's still here.
Exactly.
Right? So it's the same thing in sports. It's like these guys are millionaires and they're running around doing it, and someone is like, man, I wouldn't do this or I would do that. You don't know what you would do unless you put in that position. You don't have a clue what you would do until you have $5 million a year. And let's see what you'll do then, because I remember before I got in the league, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna do this, right? And then when I got there, none of the stuff I said I was gonna do, I did. Yeah. I didn't do none of that.
It's easy to say. It's easy to say.
You see what I'm saying?
If that was me, I would do this, or
like
you said,
how could that person blow that much? Oh.
Yeah,
you don't know unless you're in that person's shoes. You don't know what this person's going through. You don't know all the things that he has on his shoulders. So I remember these kids are 18, 19. They're the breadwinners now in their family, right? No longer are the parents of these kids making the most money. They are.
Yeah, yeah.
So this thing, 9 times out of 10, most of these kids' parents that went in the league, on average, max, they're probably making $80,000 max.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now these kids they're going to be making $3.54 million a year. And now the parents have all these plans now. Some of them have stopped working, right?
No.
So it's just too much. And then you asking them to go out there and perform at their best every night. It's hard to do.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
And like I said, you won't learn and know until you get to year 4 or 5 to really, okay, now I got this thing.
Right.
Then, unfortunately, some don't make it to those years.
I know.
Some are done in the league before.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's a tough thing. It's tough, man. As much as it's fun and everybody, we as players, we love it.
Yeah.
Y'all have no idea what's on our shoulders, what's on our backs. Like we carry a 3-ton weight.
Yes.
A 3-ton weight, not a 30-pound, 100-pound. 3 tons is on our shoulders.
Yeah, it's on your shoulders. Yeah.
And we're carrying this around with us every single day, every single year that we're in this league.
Yeah. It is. I know. I've heard it's a lot of pressure because everyone gravitates to you. As soon as you have something going on, people are like gravitating. Relatives and friends you haven't heard from in years are now certainly, that's my nephew or that's my cousin. Everybody want to come running as soon as, something good starts happening. So, yeah, it's a lot of pressure. I get it. I totally get it. Let's talk a little bit about what you're doing these days, Rafer. I know you're coaching a high school team and you're doing a lot of work with the youth. Can you talk to us about that aspect of your life right now?
Oh, great. It was great. It's my give back. I assistant coach at high school, Fort Bend Christian. I'm also coaching 7th grade, 8th grade kids. That's my give back. I don't do it for no
accolades.
Gain. I'm not like a lot of the other people that's in the AAU that this is their business now, and people are trainers and charging kids, parents a lot of money just to train their kid for 30 and 40 minutes. And right, that's not the game for me.
Yeah.
The game is the love, and I hope I can help them improve their game. I hope I could influence them in other areas. The do's and don'ts. Growing up.
Yeah.
I've had my share of mishaps and with myself as a young kid.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really the biggest thing for me is really trying to help them.
Yeah.
I can help them not only from a basketball standpoint, but I can help them from just upbringing.
A mentor? Are you
and learning how to be?
Are you kind of like a mentor to some of the kids? They come to you
I've
for
had
advice.
To learn it. I've had my share of disappointments in those areas. So that's really what I like to do. And then I always think back when I was their age and that people would do it for me, then they were doing it for free. They weren't doing it for somebody they weren't trying to make a dollar. It was just to help another young kid not succumb to what's going on in the neighborhood.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What are you noticing? I know you said you deal with seventh graders, eighth graders, high schoolers,
Yep.
right?
Seventh grade, eighth grade. Now I got some high schoolers.
What are you
right?
noticing? Are you noticing any patterns or any trends with these kids?
No, there's not so much
what's
patterns and trends.
happening
Just
with them right
different
now?
times they're growing up in, different eras. Look, the internet is big for them, and it's stopping them from being independent and doing things manually. That's the big difference. When we were all growing up, there's no internet, so we had to, for instance, when it came to schoolwork, we had to go to the library. We had to go through the periodicals. We had to type our stuff.
Yep, that's
right. They don't have to do that anymore. Right? If they need to do their homework, they could pull it. They could use their phone. Even the teachers now allow them to use their phone. So something is thinking for them, and then I'm trying to help them understand that it's going to come a time where you gotta have to speak and think for yourself.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest part that's plaguing a lot of these youngsters.
Yeah. What about COVID? I know COVID has had a lot of impacts on everything and all parts of our lives. What have you noticed about as far as the education of these kids? Because I know I hear a lot of people talking, a lot of parents talking, and they're saying that the homeschooling thing is horrible. It's not working out. The kids are falling behind. They want them to go back to school, but it's a risk. What are you noticing, if anything at all, about their learning, how they're learning?
You know what? To me, I really can't speak on that. I mean, if I homeschool my kid, I see my kids falling behind, I'm sending my kid back into school with his mask on. To me personally, that's just what I'm going to do. I'm not going to sit there and let him struggle in the most important aspect of his life, which is education. I'm not going to sit there as a parent and let him just fall by the wayside because my fear of COVID. Okay, cool. And I'm gonna get my kid vaccinated. I'm gonna put the mask on him, and I'm gonna make sure the school understand my kid is not taking his mask off. I'm gonna find a way because he needs his education.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, some parents, you gotta think a little bit, think it through.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the answer is right there in front of you. Just when you if a parent says, "Well, the homeschool's not working," okay, well that's the answer. This isn't working. Let's get them something that's gonna work.
Yeah,
so,
right.
To me, I can't agree with them on that front.
Send them back
to
school.
I think schooling has been a little better than what we had to go through. Schooling, a lot of it. They've come up with more private schools are now open. So many schools have opened up now.
Yeah.
There's tons of schools. There's so many high schools and middle schools, elementary schools. They building some as we probably speaking right now. Somewhere in one of these neighborhoods, they probably just finished putting up a school. So
that's true.
And
there is a lot of development.
Teachers. No, that's the breakdown to me in school. Is you having teachers that are qualified, and then you having these teachers that are having this issue with messing with these students and this, that, and the third. So I think that part needs to be rectified. That look,
ridiculous.
That wasn't a big thing when we were coming up. Teachers messing and touching and sleeping with students. Nah, that wasn't a big thing. If it was kept under wraps. So but nowadays it's a huge thing with these kids in these schools that And then, like you said earlier in the segment, is the bullying. The bullying is taking a hold of some of these schools. And
that's
true. That wasn't big in our school. So they need to get the kids that are coming to school not to learn. Keep them away from the kids that's coming to school.
Just coming to learn.
Because that's what you go to school for.
Separate them.
And see, the difference too now is, like, what happened to suspensions and getting thrown out of school, getting sent to an alternative school? What happened to them then? How is the bullying? And y'all identify with the bully. He or she is allowed to keep coming back to school.
Yeah.
Like,
Do they still?
When we were all coming up, they made sure they kept. Okay, listen, you got one more time. If not, your parents got to come in. We're sending you to alternative school.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And other schools, when they got that kid's record, they realized, oh no, you can't enroll here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So what happened to them days? Why is the bully allowed to come stay in school a whole year? Terrorize your school, and terrorize the kids.
Interrupting learning. I know. I don't understand. Things are just different and more free these days. It's like, I don't know what happened to the discipline. Things are like, it seems like each year things change for the worse as far as the discipline and the rules and the laws and what's allowed, what's not allowed. Things are changing. So we really have to keep an eye on our kids. Not just send them to school, they're gone, and okay, I'm checking out, mentally, and I'm not tuning back in until they get home. But these days, we really need to keep an eye on our kids and stay in tune to what's happening with them and listen when they talk to us. And you can't tune them out because there's too much going on these days. So in closing, we're getting close to wrapping it up. What advice do you have, number one, for the new rookies? I know you said a lot earlier. What advice do you have for them? One word of advice for them, and what word of advice do you have for young players that are out there, young youth, whether it's boys, females, or boys? What advice do you have for them coming up if they even want to get into professional sports?
Just keep working hard, keep believing. Don't stop believing, don't stop dreaming.
Stay focused.
That's one thing I can say would help, not just myself, my peers.
Yeah.
Is that, and understand what you're striving for.
Right.
And I had to learn that when I got older, is that this whole time we're striving to make it to the NBA, and I realized that's it's hard to do.
Yeah.
To get drafted and play in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I always try to tell these young men and women is that you got to use sports to get to where you want to get to in life and put yourself in a better position.
Exactly. Yeah.
To go forward in life and take it step by step. If you can get yourself a scholarship out of this, where your parents don't have to take out loans and stuff for you to go to school.
Yeah.
That's the most important step.
Yeah.
You can get you a free education.
Yes.
And if you make it to professional sports, whatever rank that is, that's just a testament to your hard work and your dedication to the craft.
Exactly.
But the most important thing is, man, use the sports to get to where you try to get to, man. To me, that's to get you a free education. And the guys that do make it there, don't ever lose sight of the craft. Put your craft, which is your basketball game, and put that before all the other stuff.
Right.
All the Benzes and Lamborghinis, all the extra things. Put your craft before.
Right.
Make sure you're working on your game. Make sure you're doing everything you need to do. Take care of your body, putting the right foods in your body.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is you gotta mature.
Yeah.
Every month, every year. Just try to mature and get better as a person.
Yeah.
Every month, every year that you're here.
Yes. That's great. That is good. Well, Rafer, thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy schedule today. I know you got a lot going on.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate it. And
thank you. Thank you, everybody on the check-in, everybody that was checking in, everybody that watched. Again, I appreciate you. We all appreciate you. I know Real Talk Houston appreciate you. I definitely appreciate you guys.
Most certainly. Maybe next time we can get you in the studio. We'll see what's happening next time. You can come back through maybe for season 3. We shall see. And I just want to say thanks again, as Rafer said, to everyone for joining in today. We appreciate your time. And again, I want to say that hard work pays off, as Rafer said. And we're going to go ahead and sign off. We're at the end of episode 6. Thanks for joining. And again, this show was sponsored by Tucker's Carpentry and Renovations out of the East Texas area, but they also move around. They're also mobile, tuckerbw25@gmail.com for all of your renovation, construction, carpentry, home building needs. All right, and we're out. Thank you guys so much. Ciao, Boss Fam Nation. We out.